think I found my dream studio space slash office, and I just wanted us to, let's try work the numbers together, you know. Let's see what I need to do in order for me to be able to afford the studio space. So I'm going to be using the FTD pricing system to do that, and I wanted to bring you guys along with me on this journey. So I'm going to be looking up on the laptop, so please bear with me if I'm not looking directly into the camera. That's because I'm looking at the numbers, okay? So I am going to assume that I'll be making this dress. I'll put it on the screen, and I'll only be making this dress but in different colors, so that we just try to simplify things for ourselves. Okay, so we're gonna call this dress the Ntlane dress because that is the name of our client that got that dress made from us. So let's get into the numbers. We're gonna start off with the materials. I used Duchess satin 8 meters at 32 Rand per meter. And then I used tulle 12 meters at 20 Rand, violin 1.5 meters at 60 Rand, boning 15 meters at 12 Rand, foam 0.5 meters at 60 Rand, zip 1 zip at 20 Rand, threads 4 threads, and I put here at 4 Rand because yes, the thread costs me 20 Rand, but because I'm able to use it on a minimum of 5 outfits at a time, I'm just going to divide that 20 by 5. So that's why you're seeing 4 Rand here. And then beads, 150 Rand. Invisible thread, 1 at 5 Rand. And then I also use bra cups at 35 Rand. And then eyelids, 14 at 2 Rand. The total amount for our fabrics is 1,032 Rand. Sorry, I can't see properly. And then we also have our other costs, and those amounted to 198 Rand, okay? And then our labor is the one that is costing us the most because it's taken us about 16 hours to make this dress. And I'm assuming it's gonna take less, but I'm gonna work with my current times, you know? So our labor is 1,442 at 50 cents. And now this is where things start to become a little bit shaky. Our overheads are a bit off the roof, but we are dreaming, right? So the rent for the studio is going to be 25,000 Rand. But because whenever I'm on property 24, I see that the rental does not include VAT, utilities, parking, and all these other things, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna add an extra 30% to that just in case. It might be enough, it might not be, we don't know yet, but we're just gonna add an extra 30% to that 25,000, and that is 32,500. And then we also have other overheads. I'm not gonna get into that now, but our other biggest overhead is going to be our salaries and wages. I am assuming that if I'm going to be paying 32,000 Rand for a studio, I can at least afford to pay 40,000 Rand in salaries. So I'm going to keep it at 40,000 Rand for salaries. Like I said, there's other overheads, but we're not going to get into those for now. So the system always asks you how many outfits you think you can produce in a month. And because it took me 3 days to make that dress, and I wasn't working on it like consistently, I was working on multiple things at the same time, but it took 3 days to make it. I assumed that if I'm working alone, I can make 5. So I think if there's at least 3 people working, that can move quicker, okay? So yeah. So I put 60 over here. We can make roughly about 60 dresses in the month. At the end of all of this, the system will then tell you that this is how much it costs you to produce this outfit, factoring in all the other expenses. This is how much it's gonna cost me to make this dress. 3,772 Rand 67 cents. This is how much it costs just to produce the stress and keep the lights on. There's no profit, there's no tax, there's nothing. There is absolutely nothing here. But if I add the minimum markup that the system suggests plus tax, then it works out to 5,640 Rand 14 cents as the final selling price for this dress. And the profit on that is going to be 1,131 Rand. Once you see all these numbers, you can now decide, is 1,000 Rand a bit too much as profit from one garment, or is it too little? And if it's too little, it means you can increase your markup. Right now, I said I can make 60 outfits in a month. The system is telling me, baby girl, you need to sell 69 in order for you to cover all of your costs. Means I need to go back and see where I can cut costs. Obviously, the rent, I cannot cut costs. Salaries, I cannot touch those. So I need to find areas within my expenses where I can cut down costs. And for me, I think the biggest one is labor. We can try and find ways to produce more in lesser time. I'm going to make an example now with the process that I'm currently on. I've been realizing that I spend a lot of time fusing the outfits that I'm making right now. And there's a way for me to quicken this process by buying a steam press iron, because right now I'm using the industrial iron, and that is taking long because I'm ironing one piece at a time, and each corset has 22 panels. You know what I mean? So that is a lot of time. But if I get the steam press iron, that is going to speed up the process. So you can look into things like that to speed up the process so that it takes you lesser time to produce the outfit. And then we can also go back to the materials. For Duchess satin, I put here 8 meters at 32 Rand. If I'm going to be buying these things in rolls, we can even figure out ways to lay our patterns so that we save material. And if I'm going to be buying in rolls as well, it means I can get a discount. Right now it's 32 Rand per meter. Let's get it to 30 Rand per meter. And then instead of using 8 meters, then maybe I will be able to get away with using 7 meters. And then with tulle, it's costing 20 Rand, but if we buy it in a roll, we can try and reduce that to 15 Rand instead. Violin as well, we can reduce that to 45 Rand because I've seen it for 45 in Joburg, but the traveling there is really not worth it. So by me just changing the prices of the Duchess, the tulle, and the violin, it's already gone to 3,648 as the cost of making this outfit. I told you guys that I need to produce 69 outfits, right? And right now, as I'm reducing these prices, it's now telling me I need to produce 72 outfits. Is it even worth it to try to reduce these prices? Because the price is going to go down, but then I just need to produce more of these outfits. I'm not seeing anything else that I can change. But just by me changing these few numbers, we have managed to get the cost price to 3,448 Rand 67 cents from 3,700 and something. But now we have to produce a minimum of 75 of these outfits. Can we do it? Can we not? I think we can. Guys, I think we can. I mean, if I can afford to pay 40K in salaries, I think we can bring in interns and add a little extra or something there. Let me see if I add an extra 5K for someone that comes in extra, maybe a day, you know. So now our salaries are 45,000 Rand. So with that extra person again, but we're still producing the 60. But if we bring in an extra person, we can even increase the units to 70. So now if we can make 70 because we have one extra person, So now we have how many people? 4 people working, right? We have 4 people working. So now the cost price is 3,335 rand 55 cents, but we have to produce 83 units in order for us to be able to cover our costs. The final selling price now is sitting at 4,986 rand 65 cents from the 5,500 and something that we first saw before we started making the changes. And I think this is an amazing tool that every fashion designer needs to have at their disposal. If you don't have the FTD pricing system, please do get it, guys. It is not even that expensive. Literally, one correctly priced garment can cover the system for you for months to come. I just wanted us to dream a little bit together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you're a fashion designer and you would like me to do this whole process with your numbers, I'll leave a link in the description box for you to apply, and then who knows, I might select you for my next video. I'll see you guys in the next one.